Welcome back to Old vs. New, and I've been very excited for this one because the Kingdom Galvatron has been one of my most anticipated action figures before it was even revealed and came out. I love Galvatron. He's one of my favorite Decepticons. And I was originally going to do the Old vs. New against the G1 Galvatron toy because I do have that. It's actually one of the very few like full-blown non-reissue G1s that I have. But they're doing the G1 repaint of this figure, so I'll wait until then to do that comparison. So I decided to make this old versus... That was a burp. So I decided to make this old versus new, similar to the Hot Rod one I did, where it's the original Universe Galvatron versus the new Kingdom Galvatron. We're going from Deluxe class to Leader class, even though the Leader class is more of like a Voyager, slightly chonkier and a little more intricate. So yeah, this is going to be interesting because the Universe one, as you can already see, was a very interesting figure. For the longest time, it was like the only half-decent Galvatron we had. And by today's standards, I don't even know if we can call it half-decent. The only reason I still have it around is because I love Galvatron, and he stands alongside my other Galvatrons. But, ooh, oh man, not a very good one. Not that good. Just looking right off the bat, this is like, okay, so Universe did reinterpretations. This was not supposed to be like an exact, like, this is G1 Galvatron. It's like, this is G1 Galvatron reimagined. So now he transforms into a tank and looks like a freak. But this one is like straight up G1 Galvatron. You can see he's got the look, he's got the cannon, he's got the face, he's got the proportions. Well, he's got the proportions if you actually flip his shoulders properly. We'll talk about that. And he's just an awesome figure, and he comes with cool accessories. So, yeah, I mean, you can see the size difference, because this Galvatron's just a deluxe. You got a little deluxe Galvatron going up against, like, you know, all these other big figures, and he just feels so puny. And he's supposed to be Galvatron. He's the big bad of the Decepticons. I just noticed he has a little dangly orange thing in between his legs. That's not important. What's important is getting these guys compared and looking at how far Hasbro Transformers has come. Even though we do have to acknowledge, this guy was originally like, what, you know, between 10 to 15 bucks. This guy's 50. So keep that in mind as we do this video. So, Universe Galvatron. What a freak, honestly. This arm is so big and awkward and immobile. Basically, you can swivel it and then you have like a weird little elbow underneath. And then a weird open hand. Can't even really get him pointing the cannon that nicely. It's just, like, you can't have this arm outward. It's just, and then this arm is like so hingy. It's got a super loose ball joint at the shoulder, and then it's just like Hinge City. It's actually easy to accidentally flip in the hand. That was not intentional, me flipping in the hand just there. And he doesn't even have usable hands. He's got a fist and an open hand. You cannot even use his hands. What else? The orange. I understand Galvatron has an orange cannon, but where does all this other orange come from? Like around his neck and his shoulders and there. It looks horrible. It looks really weird. And his legs, too, are just a disproportionate, swivelly mess of tread parts awkwardly chunked together. And then the weirdest heel of all time. And then this weird little foot flap that just swivels out of place super easy on accident. The tiniest thighs in the world. This big old awkward backpack that doesn't even really tab in. It just flops around. These pieces make an attempt to tab in. They make an attempt, but they're so easy to knock out of place. He's got a butt flap, always a signature quality, very high quality Transformer. And then the piece de resistance, if you don't accidentally push it down on accident, you have the beautiful, beautiful head sculpt of Galvatron. That totally doesn't look like, it almost looks like Popeye. He's got like eyeshadow underneath his eyes. Like the silver paint doesn't even go up to his eyes, so if he doesn't have, like if you view him from this angle, it looks like he just has these really dopey blue eyes. But then you get the light piping in, which does work good, by the way. And it just, Man, his face just looks so weird. He's got like this big old like chin. And then his helmet is very like interestingly designed and redesigned. He's got like this big old like neck part on the helmet now. Then you can see how big his neck is. Dude literally has no neck. It's just like a big old like looks like a big double chin. Yeah. And he has his name right on his shoulder too. Just Galv25. What's your name, Galvatron? I'm Galv25. What does a 25 stand for, Galvatron? 25 years of kicking puppies in the street. That's not very nice, Galvatron. I don't care. I'm not a nice person. Here, one thing I do the manhandle test. We'll just do it real quick with the Kingdom one. You just manhandle him a little bit and see where he's looking. After that, he's a little out of place. Doesn't really take much to fix him. Manhandle test on this guy, on the other hand. Yeah, you saw his head went down at one point. His backpack's totally out of the way. Look at his legs now. This guy is an absolute mess of a figure. He's like, oh my gosh. Oh, his hand flipped in too. Yeah, absolute mess of a figure. Total mess. I cannot wait to transform him. Oh my goodness. Let's get him out of the way. Let's talk about the Kingdom one. I need to talk about a good figure for a change. So I really want to just gush over this thing, so I need to talk about its one problem. When this figure was originally like revealed and solicited, his shoulders, I seriously looked at him and I'm like, why are his shoulders so low? Hopefully those hinge up, because this is how it looked. You can see he's got like these weird shoulders and it makes his arms look way too long. It looks horrible. That's because Hasbro misassembled most copies of this figure. There is a revised version out there. I hope I can find it someday and just, just have a revised one. I might honestly keep two because I just love Galvatron that much. But man, you can see it has the the armpit detailing on the top, and the other side has the nice smooth shoulder. So I mean, you could I've seen some fixes where they pry it open because it's got that pin there. They pry it and then they flip it over. It's scary. So what I do, I make the decision to just live with an exposed pin, and I just hinge the shoulder around. And the exposed pin, even though it is a little ugly because it's all shiny and everything. Here, let's make sure it's all nice and tabbed in. I actually did go in with a purple Sharpie just to make it metallic purple instead of metallic silver. Even though it is an exposed pin now, it's nothing new. And also, it can serve a purpose. You can actually plug things into it. It actually is the right size. So that's cool. You can actually have him looking like he's getting blasted in the shoulder. I swear his body stays together a lot better than what he's showing in the video. There we go. Yeah, I didn't even have him squeezed in all the way. So I can have him getting shot in the shoulder, or you can do the classic G1 Galvatron thing where he's got the cannon on his shoulder. I mean, you can do that. So his arm is kind of immobilized by his cannon. Let's get that piece of kibble out of my way so I can actually do this. There we go. So you can have that plugged in like that now. It gives you the option. It's an option. It's an additional option. And honestly, either way, you're going to have a hole, on the shoulder. And either way, he already has two other holes on the side of his arm. What's the difference with having a hole on the front of his arm, too? I can live with it. I would like to get the revised version at some point, though. Hopefully the G1 toy redeco is revised. But yeah, it's just so disappointing how they misassembled the figure. Other than that, man, ooh mama, this is the Galvatron I've been waiting for. He comes with the Matrix. You can't take it off the chain. He comes with the Matrix. You can have it on his chest. I don't really think it tabs in, unfortunately. You can just kind of have it resting on him. So you can actually have him wearing the Matrix, which is so cool. I love that. And then he comes with two of these. I've already put one in storage because it's kind of useless that he comes with two of them. It's a little mini version of a ship from the movie. I don't remember the name of it. But it can serve as guns if you want to do that. And they can tab together. You can see the peg and the hole. You can tab them together. I feel like this is something that's kind of meant to go with the big old Unicron if you got that. I personally didn't get it because I collect Transformers toys, not a big $600 heaping mass of plastic. It just was way out of my price range. I couldn't justify it. But yeah, man, this is really cool. Really cool Galvatron. Love, love, love the head sculpt. That is Galvatron. I am in love with that. And the torso, some people are a little iffy on like all this like lighter purple damage on him, but I kind of really love how it looks. Something about it, man. I really love it. It's on the arms, it's on the chest. And he does have a little bit of scuffing on the feet. It's pretty obvious. There's just like there, you're done. Yeah, it's not that good looking there. Yeah, it's really cool, man, and he feels so durable. Like you already saw in the fiddle test, he just like look at this chunk. Look at his heft. He's just, I do feel like his arms pop out. I do feel like that is a bit of an issue. If you articulate him too firmly, his shoulders can pop out of place. But if you really get him squozing in there, that's a word now. I mean, it serves its purpose. Just don't overbend his ankle because then it'll pop out for the transformation. You've got an ankle pivot. You've got, I mean, basically got all the articulation you really want. You got wrist swivels. You got a head ball joint. Got a waist swivel. Got hip skirts that can move. Even though you do have to keep in mind the waist swivel is hindered by the kibble back here. So you do have to keep that in mind. You can swivel it, but you have to move the skirt out of the way to accommodate for it. But yeah, you can get a lot of awesome poses and articulation out of this Galvatron. I'm really happy with it. It feels nice and solid too. That's the thing. It just feels so nice and chonk. I love it. It is, you know, it's smaller, and like this is what passes for leader class nowadays, I guess. But I feel like it was worth the money. I genuinely do. This definitely has more heft and more substance than just a Voyager class. So I can see where they were coming from. And they gave you some additional accessories. Like you get the big old cannon that has the nice like orange paint and then it goes into clear. A lot of nice silver paint. You got the Matrix, and you gave you two of these, and they're not even really in the right color, but whatever. So, that's Kingdom Galvatron. Now, let's return to our precious boy, the absolute perfect Galvatron toy, and try to transform him. This is not going to be fun. I've not transformed this guy in a while. I don't think it's too difficult. It's just not fun at all. So his right arm turns into the tank turret. Get that like spread out. And then this piece kind of wedges in there. Get a little cannon out of that. The cannon flips down. That is a firing missile, by the way. I forgot to mention. That is a firing missile. Here, ooh, that almost fell off the desk. I was about to say, let's take that out, but then it accidentally fired out, so that's great. Let's get his arm back in there. There we go. So he's got a tank turret on his shoulder. That's great. Oh, clear plastic, by the way. Keep that in mind. He's got some very essential clear plastic that really helps with the durability. Believe me, really assists with the durability of this fine Transformers toy. That totally isn't one of the worst things Hasbro ever put out in the Universe line. I mean, the Universe line had some real winners and some real stinkers, man. Like the Sunstreaker Sideswipe mold, total winner. But then you had like Ironhide and this Galvatron, and you're just like, oh my gosh, where did they go wrong? Everywhere, apparently. So, I'm trying to kind of remember how things go. I think, doesn't that hinge up? Yeah, there we go. And then you got, and see things, look at everything just banging into itself. Like, this is such a mess. Like, what a mess of a toy. Like, oh my gosh. I don't know what they were thinking when they designed this, because this is just kind of repulsive. I hate to use that word for a Transformers toy, but like, it's just a mess of hinges and just, it's not fun. It's finicky. It's a mess. Then this piece is supposed to fold up, I think. There we go. And then the feet just kind of fold in, but we'll revisit those in a minute, because that's another horrible thing about this guy. Then we'll get those, and then these kind of, I think that, does his arm go like that? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's where his arm goes, right? I'm pretty sure his arm kind of folds up over top. Yeah, there we go. All right, and then Pay close attention to the quivering of my voice, because that shows you that I am not having a very good time with this. And then the legs kind of go down, and then that's supposed to like clip in, but everything's coming undone because it's just such a mess. It's so hingy, man. Like, if you talk about a transformer that's just overly excessive with the hinges, like, show a picture of Universe Galvatron. This figure is over-engineered. That's his problem. He is way over-engineered. They did way too much with this figure, and they were, like, I guess overly ambitious. Like, we can make a really good tank Galvatron. And this is what happened, and it's not very good. It's actually very bad. So, I think we're almost there. I don't even know if that's going to tab in for me. Probably not. Are those going to tab in? No. Alright, we'll live without tabbing those in, because that's just not cooperating with me. Alright, so, pretty much got him. That's pretty much it. There we go. There is Universe Galvatron in his tank mode. And this was not worth it. I mean, it's a tank. It doesn't look bad. I mean, it's got some nice silver detailing, but it doesn't have any purple. That's one thing. Like, all the purple and most of the orange is totally gone. Because, like, it's basically a shell. Like, all of this is just the backpack. Then that's just the right arm. And then that's a shell. And then that's, like, hinges and panels folded from the legs. Man, this guy's a mess. Absolute mess. Oh, my gosh. Anyways... Well, I wonder, is it the same size? I wonder. It kind of looks it. No, it's not. I was curious if it would fit. So yeah, that is Universe Galvatron. Anyways, let's talk about a toy that isn't going to make me want to kill something. This transformation is very satisfying. You do have to parts form the cannon, just like the original G1 toy, but it is what it is. Alright, so you do have to adjust the arms and kind of get them how they were. With the misassembly, it does not affect the alternate mode whatsoever, so that's a good thing. And just get the arm aligned like that. And like the solidity of how the figure feels really translates into the cannon mode for this guy too. So that's great. This guy is just really something else. It does have a little bit of a stiff hinge up here with this assembly. You can see it's very cleverly engineered. With how all this goes together, because you can see like this is the cannon, but it's positioned differently from how most Galvatrons are. So this piece folds, and then this orange panel, I believe, yeah, untabs like that, and then his head flips in. There we go. That wasn't too bad. I had issues flipping the head in the past. That was my problem. And then this is kind of hinges down. You can see we're making progress. I mean, it's pretty good. Now the feet, you have some choices with how to transform the feet. So you can either just flip in the heel and take these little purple parts, get those out of the way for now. And then you can just kind of tab the legs together and call it a day. You can just do that if you want, which is an option. You know, you can just do that. Or you do have like the leg stability you can do where, come on, pieces. There we go. The issue is you want these to be connected together before they hinge down. Or you can take these feet, fold them down, then kind of, I feel like there's another piece I'm missing. Yeah, there you go. Flip that piece. And then kind of gives them the stability of the turret. So I'll probably leave it like that. And then get those pieces. Then these hinge down, tab in there. These are supposed to slot into the chest. That little piece is supposed to slot in. I've never gotten it to work. I've tried my hardest. I just can't. You don't really need to. I feel like it's durable enough without that. It'll stay. But still, it's just kind of annoying where it's like it's supposed to do it, but it doesn't do it. Ah! So, get the arms positioned. And, like, I guess you can hinge those in a little bit if you want, but I feel like they're supposed to be like this because that's how it's supposed to slot in to the torso part, but it just doesn't. And then there's the turret, pretty much. Just gotta tighten some things up, get some things tabbed in. There we go. And then just take this part, tab it up there, and then take the tip of the turret, put it in there. Then there you go. There's Galvatron's alt mode. You can see without that clicking in, it does kind of, like, I just don't know how to get that slotted in. I just don't feel like the hinges really cooperate with me enough for it to happen. Like, there's not enough room for things to move. Like, you can see I'm trying to get that slotted in, and it's not going. There's just not enough room to work. So, I mean, maybe there's a way, maybe there's a trick. I don't know it. But there is Galvatron in his classic cannon mode, and this is pretty great. Besides that connection issue, this is pretty great. You can, as always, put in a little effect part at the tip, so that's nice. And, I mean, I guess you can put these, you can plug those in somewhere if you're so inclined. The matrix, if you want them to still display it as a cannon, I guess you can put it up there if you're so inclined again. But yeah, definitely have to give it to the Kingdom one. I mean, it's the classic turret, and it's not a total nightmare to transform. So yeah, old versus new Galvatron. What else do I have to say, man? Oh, I forgot. The feet. You can put a feet in the tank in these walking tank. You get a little feet sticking out of the tank, and now it can walk. Oh my gosh, what a... No, don't just... avoid that. I couldn't even speak. It's just so bad. Just avoid it. I was trying to just say, yeah, just avoid it, and I literally could not speak. It's just that bad. Don't get the universe one. Do not. Clear winner here. Get the Kingdom. There is also the Titan's Return. I would very much also not recommend that one over the Kingdom one. Kingdom is Galvatron. That's the way to go. Get the Kingdom Galvatron. You'll be set. You'll be good. All right. There we go, guys. Old versus new of Galvatron. One of my favorite Decepticons. If you like the universe one more, then you are actually mentally ill. Just gonna say it. Might need to seek some therapy. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much to my patrons. Shout out to all the patrons of Patreon. You guys rock. Thank you all for the support. I always appreciate it. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for watching again. That's all. I ruined it. I'm just going to turn the camera off.